Hey everybody, good morning. Meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Wednesday morning. Early this morning, a couple of thin clouds have been moving in from South Dakota into central Nebraska. These are not very thick though. We will see plenty of sun today. Those will actually probably thin out later on today. So lots of sun expected, light winds, not a lot of wind out there, under 10 miles per hour. And it stays pretty quiet overnight tonight with clear skies. Winds will settle in out of the southeast, the south and the southeast, but they should stay under 10 miles per hour. The winds will pick up tomorrow. It's going to be a breezier day on your Thursday. It's going to be very warm out there, and you've got a west wind out here in the Panhandle, and these areas are going to be hot tomorrow in the Panhandle and parts of Cherry County. But a cold front does dive southeast. It's going to be right about here at the end of the day on Thursday. That dives southeast into western Nebraska. Brings a few extra clouds. No moisture expected, but a few extra clouds, a wind shift, and that'll cool these areas back on Friday. The rest of us are still going to be warm, but it will cool things back towards the west and the northwest, as we'll show you in just a second. So highs today. Most of us getting up into the 80s for highs. Low and mid 80s will be pretty common. And then you go to the west and northwest, upper 80s, and even some lower 90s out there in the far western part of the state. Lows tonight, dipping back into the upper 40s and low to mid 50s, so slightly warmer than this morning. Shouldn't be quite as chilly out there. And then as we look ahead to tomorrow, mostly 80s, but again, now we're starting to see the 90-degree temperatures creeping eastward. 90 in Ainsworth, Thedford, Imperial, mid-90s for Valentine, and mid to upper 90s in the Panhandle. Upper 90s around Chadron and Scotts Bluff, so it is going to be hot out there to the west. But I mentioned that cold front coming in Thursday night. Now we'll drop back to the low and mid 50s Thursday night into Friday morning, but then notice Friday, everybody's going to be warm still, but western Nebraska will be cooler. We're mostly looking at highs in the mid to upper 80s for your day on Friday across the entire area. Taking a look at the forecast for Saturday, it looks like more warm weather on the way. Once again, 80s, some lower 90s, just a few extra clouds to the east, slightly cooler there, but still very, very warm as we go into the weekend. Looking at that extended forecast, not a lot going on. Unfortunately, there is not much to talk about. There'll be a couple of extra clouds on Saturday, and that's with the remnants of Hurricane Helene, or what will be Hurricane Helene, hitting the Florida Gulf Coast. The remnants will be sitting over the Midwest. We'll get a few extra clouds, but I've taken the thicker clouds out of the forecast. Maybe eastern Nebraska. No moisture expected, but just a few extra clouds around. Speaking of the remnants of Hurricane Helene, as I'm going to show you in just a bit, they're going to be spinning around the middle of the country, and that could impact the Husker game with some rainfall for the Nebraska-Purdue game. Could be a kind of a wet day there on Saturday in western Indiana. Looking at the extended forecast, you see the cool down coming Tuesday there. That's the first day of October. Doesn't last long. We warm right back up on Wednesday and Thursday, and then another slight cool down on Friday, of next week. North Platte, we're going to be on the warm side. Very warm. Mid to upper 80s, a little breezy on Thursday. Staying warm over the weekend, upper 80s to near 90, not very much for clouds. Maybe a couple of clouds on Friday as that cold front kind of moves in, but not very many there. Very breezy for early next week. I think it could be a little on the windy side on Monday. In fact, I kind of debated throwing in a windy icon there. Around 80 as a cold front comes through Monday into Monday night, and then Tuesday, cooler weather for a day at least. And the low will be chillier Tuesday morning as well, down around 40 degrees. No threats of frost or anything like that quite yet, though. But you see, after that cool down on Tuesday, we warm right back up on Wednesday, Thursday, before temperatures drop a little bit next Friday. So taking a look at the extended outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, we are likely to stay warm through at least the first week of October. Very warm, if not even a little hot, off to our west and southwest here. Most of the country is going to be pretty warm, but other than where the remnants of Hurricane Helene kind of spin around here, where it won't be quite so hot there or quite so warm. But yeah, we're likely to be very warm most of those days into early October, and we're likely to be dry. There is not much for moisture to speak of. In fact, as we take a look at the European model, there'll be a couple of things worth noting, but not much here. So again, very quiet today and tomorrow. Tomorrow night, the cold front in northwest Nebraska, a couple of clouds, but not much for moisture. There's the remnants of Helene off to our east, bringing a couple of clouds to eastern and southeast Nebraska Friday into Saturday. You can see it spinning right around the Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky border there, southeast of St. Louis. And there's the moisture spinning, could bring some bands of moisture to West Lafayette, Louisiana, which is located kind of right in this area here. So some rain could impact the Husker game. And then as that eventually moves on out, the clouds and all that stuff kind of eventually go away. Still see moisture to our east, though, but Not much for us. Now, a cold front coming through Monday, right there. You can see the winds turning northwesterly. They're going to be kind of strong, so that's why I debated putting in a windy icon for us, especially towards the west and north. So North Platte probably windier than farther southeast, but that front will bring a cool down, but no moisture with it. Very little moisture expected even in the next week. There's that next front coming in later next week on that Friday time frame. We were looking at that next little cool down here, but then warming right back up heading into the following weekend. The GFS model. Let's jump ahead to Thursday night. There's the cold front moving into western Nebraska, a few extra clouds and a wind shift. And then there's the remnants of Helene Friday into Saturday. A few extra clouds for us, but otherwise all the rain's to our east. And there's the rain that could impact the Husker game there in Indiana. And then the remnants just kind of sit there for a few more days, but we will not see impacts from that for the most part. We'll get our next cold front coming through Monday. Again, there's the cold front bringing in the wind shift. And no moisture, though, with that front. And it'll be cooler on Tuesday, but then we'll warm back up Wednesday, Thursday before the next front comes through at the end of next week. Maybe bring some cooler air, and we'll see if some moisture tries to approach the following weekend or not. I believe that's the first weekend of October, but as of right now, it would be off to our west and to our northwest. And so this could also mean, if this were to play out, again, I want to stress this is over a week and a half away. If this were to play out, that would be a warm first weekend of October, which would also be Harvest of Harmony Parade, which could be a warm one there. Maybe windy too, the way things are shaping up. But that's a long ways out. Yeah, let's take a look at the extended forecast when it comes to temperatures. Again, we're going to be warming up. Look at all the heat building in these next few days. And then we kind of cool off a little bit Friday, but not much. The bigger cool down is going to come in towards Monday into Tuesday right there. There it is. And then we warm back up Wednesday, Thursday, and then there's the next cool down on Friday. And it starts to warm back up as we head towards the following weekend. Let's take a look at the GFS model. And warming up today and especially tomorrow. Small cool down mainly out west on Friday, but even then still pretty warm. Saturday and Sunday still going to stay on the warm side. You can see the cooler air to our east under the remnants of Hurricane Helene. And then there's our cool down Monday into Tuesday. Warming back up Wednesday, Thursday, and then our next cool down on Friday of next week, although maybe not much of a cool down. We'll see. You can see the cold air lingering off to the north. It's getting closer. That's kind of a sign of fall. Canada is now cooling down quite a bit, but we are fighting it here in the States here, and so we're going to stay on the warm side through early October the way it looks right now. So not a super complicated forecast. It doesn't look super busy, but again, very warm with occasional brief shots of cool air is kind of what we're going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks, and very little moisture to speak of to go along with it. All right, with that, I'm going to let you all go. I want to thank you all for watching on this Wednesday morning. I will see you all again on Thursday with all the latest. Until then, take care and God bless. Bye.